All right, so in this video, we are going to demystify some of the myths of computer science. Okay, so we are going to demystify some of the myths of the computer science. So we are going to do that, right? We are going to try to demystify some of the myths of computer science. Now, when we talk about when we talk about computer science, the thing is that um, computer science is one of the core technological subjects in all the sciences, right? So the first technological subject, right, the first technical subject when you come into sciences, it is computer science. And from this computer science, what happens is that there are other specialization of other subjects comes into play, right? So when we talk about let's say computer science, it has one of the sub branches, which is information technology, which we call as IT. Okay, and this is again one of the specialization of computer science. So computer science is one of the core technological subjects, and then you have IT, which is kind of like a sub branch of computer science, right? Now next we have AI is also one of the sub branch of computer science, right? And the sub branches of AI is a lot, right? So there is machine learning in there, so it comes under the AI. And then there is deep learning is there, which is also it also comes under AI. So there are these two things. So AI and information technology, they both come into, they are the sub branches of your computer science itself, right? So computer science is one of the more core technological subjects. Now, then one we have to understand more is in this one is that there are other subjects as well, which is in the computer science. So when you talk about hardware engineering, right? When you talk about hardware engineering, or let's say, yes, when you talk about any kind of hardware engineering or software engineering, it is again the application of computer science, right? It is again the application of computer science. So if someone who is good with computer science, they also have knowledge of like the hardwares of the computers, and even the hardwares of the phones and other hardwares, right? So they are typically more attuned with whatever happens inside the computer, as well as whatever happens in the softwares of the computer. So they are attuned with the hardwares, and as well as they are attuned with your softwares of the computers, right? They are both um, you know they are familiar with those things, right? And when you talk about software engineering, then software engineering also has a lot of things in there. So there is software engineering is there. Then beside that, there is let's say software architecturing is there, and then there is a development operation is there, which we call DevOps. Then there are system operators, which is called SysOps, and there are a lot of many things in there, right? So in software development also, like, there are a lot of things. In software development, there is one category which is software engineering as well. So that is there. So there are many subfields in there. There's many subfields in there, right? And then when we talk about other aspects of computer science, so like suppose uh, applications of both hardware and software, and then we get to something like Internet of Things devices and Internet of Things subject, right? So these are smart devices which will work on some human interaction, which is not very obvious. So suppose if you clap, so one of the example is like if you clap two times, the light will turn off. If you clap one time, the light will turn on. So all these things are like examples of IoT devices which listen to the sound of the clap and then turn on or off the lights, right? One of the simple application of IoT devices. Another kind of application of IoT devices is including a small language model in your IoT devices, and then they will adjust the devices based on how you speak to the device. So they will configure a device in certain way to run in certain way on how you speak, because then it will understand what language you are speaking, because it has a small language model inside it, right? So these are some of the applications of it. So suppose if you have like a robotic vacuum cleaner in your home, right? So you have that, and let's say suppose it performs its duty, such as it goes towards every corner of the house and cleans and vacuums and mops the floor, right? It does that. So again, this is again the application of computer science. It is both hardware, software, as well as IT in this one, right? So that is again the application of computer science through its sub branches, right? So hopefully this confusion is cleared enough, right? That the computer science is one of the most core subjects in when you talk about the technical fields regarding what the technical subjects are. Now, one more thing to understand in here is that computer science will be taught in the very low grades as well, right? Because when we are teaching very small kids, they do not have the idea as in what is a computer, what is a mobile, and what we can do in all those things, right? So the basic stuff is also the computer science, and the most complex stuff when we go in very high level research, as well as even when we get to grade 11 and 12. In that scenario, we have to understand all the aspects of computer science, but in a lot of more detail than what we have studied in your junior classes, right? So there is a difference between that. The subject name is obviously different. What was taught into very lower grades and what was taught in the senior more classes. However, the details are more when you study computer science in your grade 11 and 12. Now, if you go beyond that as well, what happens is that let's say you take BTech and CS, right? Now there is even more details of computer science, and this is not actually now specializing to any one field, subfield of computer science. You have details from all over the places. So that is the BTech and CS, right? And BTech and IT, then that is another specialization in the field of computer science. So you have BTech with more details on a specific field. So if you are like, suppose if you are choosing for, let's say, BTech in AI and ML, then you will only learn about AI and ML, and there will be a lot of specialization in that, right? However, when you do some specialization, you will also like lose out the generalization of computer science in this one. So there is a trade-off. There is a pros and there is a cons, right? And suppose if you get some integrated subjects such as bioinformatics, or let's say if you select something like telemedicine or other applications of it, then again what will happen is that only those concepts will be taught to you, and other related concepts which will be beneficial for that field only, right? So you have to properly decide like what will you choose after grade 11 and 12, which bachelor's you will choose, which master's you will choose. Because most of the time what happens is that students are not sure what to choose themselves. And sometimes when you talk about like, okay, when you talk about choosing what to choose in your college life, the when you're getting a bachelor's and you want to choose what are the bachelors, the best way to think about is like what is your purpose, and from that purpose you decide which type of subjects you want to choose. This should actually happen before taking any subjects in grade 11 itself. So that is one thing in here. But in grade, when you talk about like deciding what stream to choose, whether the humanities, whether the commerce, or whether science, which one to choose, you have to like go more fundamental in like deciding what you have to what your inner calling or what your purpose is in your life, right? And how to decide what is your purpose, there is a way to do that. I will try to explain it in some another video when you are like choosing between any subject or any stream in your grade 11. However, for the choosing of the subject in your bachelor's, that is the explanation which I gave in here, right? And also the explanation of what is a computer science now. So hopefully this will clarify things.